This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, you are the real star of today's show. Happy hump day to everybody out there. And before we even get things going, Michael Clark getting things started before the show even goes live with coffee and bone for Max. Well, coffee for me, bone for Max on a hot lap hump day. Well, it's actually not hot lap hump day, but hump day! Guess what day it is, everybody? We are working for the weekend. So what are you up to? Before I even get into the news, I want to know what all you guys are up to. What are you driving? Any of you get out there in the new dirt rally content? Was that a big deal to you? Were you out there in the latest, greatest Gran Turismo or Forza stuff that's gone on? We've seen a lot of updates, and we have a lot more updates coming to Sims and things like that. Beyond that, I want to come back to a topic that was we talked about on Monday. So Monday, I talked about an article that was done by Austin Ogonowski. And I just want to clear the air on a few things. Number one, me and Austin have talked since then, and all is good between the two of us. So there was some informal apologies for some things that had been said about me, not directly by him, but I had alluded to that and said that I was a little bit biased in my coverage of that. So I just want to clear the air and let you all know there is nothing negative between me and Austin. Everything is all good there. But also, I don't know if you guys realize this, but the video we are talking about was actually pulled. The video is no longer available. So this video that was really trashing on ESport and talking about how it has a potential for great failure, and well, apparently it ruffled some feathers out there, some negative comments perhaps, some powers to be. Perhaps it was YouTube who struck down upon thee with furious vengeance and anger. I screwed that line up. I should know it better. I've only seen Pulp Fiction about 1,000 times. Anyway, but just so you guys know, there's no negative, because I did mention that I was maybe a little upset with Austin myself. But he and I have spoken. Everything's good there. So that is kind of news, though. It is news that that video was pulled. And you got to wonder, I've only had one video pulled in my entire history on YouTube. And that video was such blatant copyright infringement that it's no surprise that it was pulled. It was totally within the rights of the company who did so. Totally screwed me over. But, hey, the law is the law, and you should know better as a streamer, I guess. So I don't know why. We can only speculate what is the reasoning for the why is esports going to be a total failure by Austin Ogonowski. Anyway, you can go try to find it and see if I'm wrong. I don't think you're going to find it out there, though. Anyway, that's kind of news story of the day, or coming off of Monday. So what is going on in sim racing? And like I said, what are you guys up to? What are you racing? What's going on out there? What's fun? I see Darren Ganges practicing for Homestead in the Lionheart 79 series. I did a practice race last night. I didn't stream it because me getting back to this IndyCar is a whole story in its own. We can have that be a show in its own. But I ran a practice race. I did okay. I didn't do great. I did finish on the lead lap, which was nice. I did lead the race, but it was purely fuel strategy that got me there. And I ended up finishing like 17th out of 28 drivers. So a very, very mediocre effort at best by me. So that's what I've got going on. I do want to get back into some dirt rally, and as you all know, I'm, testing that GS5 G seat, testing away on that thing. Really enjoyed it on the ovals last night. Had a really good time. It really, really came to life in that Indy car at Homestead. So, all right, let's get on to other sim racing news other than Shaun news, which I could bore people with Shaun news forever. But what's going on? Yesterday, we did have the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series round number 3 from Auto Club Speedway. Is that what they call it? I hate when they name tracks after a sponsor for 2 reasons. Number one, I think it takes away. It used to be called California Speedway, and that's exactly what it was. Now it's Auto Club Speedway, which is always kind of weird to me. And then if that company ever goes out of business or pulls their sponsorship, all of a sudden the name of your track changes, which I've never understood how Laguna Seca became one thing, Mazda Raceway, then it became WeatherTech Raceway. How about you just leave it Laguna Seca and then put your name under it like normal friggin' sponsorship? Anyway, not to take away from the event, because it was a really big deal. Eric J. Smith goes on to win. So this is first victory in the Peak Antifreeze Series for him, so congratulations. And we've seen, I know I screwed up that one day when I thought Michael Conti had won 2 races, I think was the mistake I had made. But we've had a real good variety of drivers coming to the front or coming to the top when it comes to the Peak Antifreeze Series. Definitely looking like one of the most cutthroat seasons ever when it comes to that one. Nate Dogg, yes, mentioned in the Group C cars coming to Raceroom. I have that in my stories for today as well. A lot to cover today. Today's going to be kind of a long show. I'm in no hurry. I have no other plans. So right now, I have all the time in the world. Brandon, I should cover your 3D printing efforts. Is that right? I can cover that. Spatial got a upgrade for his TH8 shifter from Rick Motep. Dan doing an AccuForce review. Love to hear your thoughts for comparison. ACC Monza, Night in the Rain was fun in the GTR. You know, it's funny you say ACC Monza. I have another story, Hemi, that's talking about ACC Monza in today's list. And anyway, okay. And for those of you who are dealing, I'm checking the weather. You know, my weather is coming around. Like this Friday, I think I get to go ride my bike out like it's a spring day. I know it's like, you know, snowing in the Northwest. I've heard of hurricanes in the Midwest. I've heard of horrible snow and flooding and things. So tough times out there for everyone else. We got our share a week ago. It's moved on to all of you now. Normally, I'm the last. You know, time zones, I'm the last. Weather, I guess I'm the first. Assetto Corsa, here we go. So it's time to plan your trip to Monza. This video came out today. And not a lot to it. I'm going to hit mute, showing some eSport competition, obviously. The SRO Motorsports eSport GT Series. See you in Monza, April 13th and 14th. Pirelli, SRO, Informatica, Kunos. It is time to plan your trip to Monza. So we are getting our first taste, our first Italian flavor of what Assetto Corsa Competizione might all be about. I really, from minute one when they dropped the name, I speculated that it really looked like the kind of title that was built to be eSport ready out of the gate. So it's very cool to see this announcement. April 13th and 14th, that's soon. That is 1 month from today. 1 month from today is April 13th. So we will know more about what's going on. How is this going to change the face of eSport? You know, every time a new game in town does open their doors to competition, you have those who are already obligated to other series. Can they run too? Is the skill set transferable enough that a driver could run and switch and be like, hey, I'm going to run F1 2018 and Assetto Corsa Competizione? Oh, Brandon, I don't wish my hair on anyone, but I will say, for anybody who is losing their hair, just a little peace of mind, a little rest assurance for you out there. I have not had a bad haircut in like 15 years. I had really thin hair, like it would just blow in the wind, and I never had a good haircut my whole life until I just shaved my head. And not that I've had a good haircut, but I've never had a bad one since I started shaving my head. So that's the one great thing about losing hair. You just stop thinking about it for the most part. It's a non-issue. Anyway, okay, there you go. See you in Monza, April 13th, 14th. Did a quick sneak peek. This is Renee Butler. Did a quick sneak peek preview of the upcoming FIA Formula E Gen 2 cars. He's kind of doing a little braggadocious here because he actually makes a hell of a pass here, and he's saying all the Formula E teams should be signing him up. So there you go. But there he is in VR. So it looks like I'm looking at long distance. I think that's an HTC Vive, not the Pro, just a regular Vive. Oh, it says it right there, hashtagger at HTC Vive. I guess if I read all the words, I don't have to use my eyes quite so hard. Tornadoes. Yes, yes, Tim, thank you. You know, that just shows you how much a West Coaster I am. Tornadoes, hurricanes don't happen in the Midwest. That's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, a hurricane requires a water mass, and that is the distinct difference between a tornado and a hurricane. Forgive me for that. So, anyway, all right, moving right along. We're having fun. I'm having fun. I don't know, you know, today feels like a different type of show. I don't know what it is. I guess I woke up on either the wrong or the right side of the bed, depending on how you look at it. So I don't know. Is it entertaining when we're all over the place, or is it better to just stick to the news? Let's just get to the news. Anyway, Dirt Rally, that was my question of the morning. Anybody run it? Citroen C4 Rally is one of the cars arriving. It's already arrived at this point, along with the Season 1 things going on there. So are you guys doing it? I know a lot of you guys, you know, Rally, you guys were all into it. Has it already peaked? For the hardcore guys, did Rally, was this the lifespan of Rally, Dirt Rally? Am I wrong about that? Is a Season 1 release with the car and some icy conditions going to be enough to suck you in? And then for how long? What are the overall thoughts there? I'd love to know your guys' long-term thoughts. And I think that's an area where Dirt Rally might be just a little bit dry, perhaps. So, anyway, what else do we have? Dirt Rally, we talked about that. We talked about that. We talked about all of that. So I just wanted your guys' thoughts and opinions. I guess 6 hours ago, they were talking about an update. They've been working flat out, looking into issues some of you have been experienced with accessing your new vehicles in-game. And this has now been resolved. If you have any further issues, please don't hesitate to let us know. I think Heiko in our chat was talking about if you're having internet issues, it'll screw up the pace notes. Isn't that kind of weird? You know, we talked about the whole logging into the RaceNet and the good and bad and ugly of that whole type of conversation. But what about if logging in was affecting your pace notes? I mean, that's game critical right there for sure. So there you go. Are you guys, what are your experiences? I have not, Michael, I have not heard about a force feedback fix. Haven't heard. I've seen like various people with settings that, oh, here, try this. I don't use the wheel they're referring to, so I haven't tried it, but I haven't heard anybody say hey, it cured it. So what else? What else? Dirt Rally. Whoops. Boom. Private conversations. You guys are getting privy to private conversations there on my Facebook page. Nothing too exciting there. F1 Games from Codemasters showing off Scuderia Toro Rossa with their Alex Albon and his race engineer Pierre Hamelin. Is it Albon? Alex Albon. So they're showing off Australian Grand Prix using F1 2018, talking about the drive. In addition to that, you know, this is the big race, you know, for Formula One kicking off their season. McLaren Shadow using none other than Rudy Van Buren to show the way around Melbourne in the rain. None other than in the rain. Not doing the drive line for Rudy. He's doing it the hard way. Be interesting to see a comparison of those two lap times. I didn't look myself. Edgar's getting game crashes. That's too bad. Dirt Rally needs more freestyle. It desperately needs VR. I agree with you guys 100%. Force feedback and VR. Those are just, to me, those are game critical in 2019. That's for sure. FPS frame rates are affecting F1 2018 physics. I've heard those kind of things before. Why is Mitchie Hoyer calling me during a show? Hello?
Hey there.
Do you know I'm live right now, Mitchie Hoyer? You're live on the Simpit. What's up?
Oh, did you have saving hour?
It's daylight savings. That's right. Hey, you have anything important to announce?
Why you do that?
Because you would have done the same to me. That's why I did it, Mitchie Hoyer.
That is your fucking 24-hour redemption.
That is exactly what that is. Mitchie Hoyer called me at 3 in the morning during one of my rest stints when I was racing with him in Avid Chronic Racing at 3 in the morning, and he literally like acted like there was some sort of an emergency, and there was nothing going on. He was just waking me in the middle of the night during a 24-hour race. All right, Mitchie, anything else? I'm going to go back to the live show here.
Let's talk about it after it then.
About what?
About what I wanted to talk with you, because that's not meant for public.
Okay, I'll call you later then.
Alright, I have Sim Racing Academy though in an or 3 hours time.
All right, Sim Racing Academy coming up in an hour or two on Mitchy Hoyer channel. So there you go. There you go. All right, Mitchy, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And
Oh, I don't know what he was saying now. I don't know if you guys were able to hear Mitchy there. That was pretty funny. Wow, what a hump day. What a hump day. We are just all over the place. So there you go. Rudy Van Buren in the rain at Melbourne in F1 2018. You know, I'm always talking about it. When real life racing, when you get that real life racing is here again. It's the season is on, right? It's on. Excuse me. Doesn't that inspire you? Doesn't it motivate you? Doesn't it make you want to sim race? I mean, to me, I want to do things. I even end up wanting to run disciplines that aren't my norm because I saw it on TV or I was inspired by that race. So, anyway, there you go. So, Raceroom. We talked about the Porsches coming to Raceroom. Look at the beautiful, the Growler, the 911 Carrera Cup from, what was that, late 80s, I believe it was. But here we have the 962. And in addition to the 962, I guess we could just say we have Group C. Because what you have is a Porsche 962, the Jost Porsche there, and the ever-famous Nissan. I think they tried to call that a 300Z, if I'm not mistaken. That makes me laugh right there. But the Nissan GTP car, an amazing, amazing machine. Two amazing cars that are also going to be part of the next update in Raceroom. So this is really, really great news. Just the other day, we were talking about eras of motorsport, and the 962, the Group C era of road racing was, to me, maybe the pinnacle of that era. Something about the way the cars were, something about the 750 horsepower, but in a real raw manner. 750 horsepower today comes in a very tame, quiet, manageable way. 750 horsepower back in the day was a rocket ship. It's amazing how much difference 750 horsepower is today versus what it was 20, 30 years ago. Anyway, I'm very much looking forward to these cars. If I were to put it on a scale of Raceroom content, Group C is always, it does not just Raceroom, just any sim maker out there. Group C, people have a lust for. Group C has a nostalgic factor that people die for and did back in the day. So bring it on, bring it on. I'm very much looking forward to the next update in Raceroom for sure. Forza Horizon 4 talking about their Series 7 update, so their, event schedule, things going on there. RTR cars in Forza 4. And again, continuing development and effort out of them to keep that game going. And speaking of continued development, we also have Live for Speed, not to be outdone. Live for Speed staying in the action. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if they had the Sauber AMG C9 and the Mazda and perhaps like the Silk Cut Jaguar? But maybe they will be coming. Maybe this is just a first step for sure. So, where should we meet for go-karts? K1 Racing down near Long Beach. We could meet down there during the Long Beach Grand Prix. That sounds fun. I'm down for that. Mitchy, that was fun. That was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that weird, bizarro diversion. Revenge is the dish best served cold. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so anyway, a couple of things. Test patch T6 is ready for testing. This came out yesterday, 22 hours ago. This is Live for Speed, people. Back in action. We want to release the official version of this minor but important update tomorrow. If you have a little time, please try the test patch and let us know if you find any issues. I think that was server hosting, things like that, that is going to be part of them getting with the new age, I'm guessing. Updating servers. Oh, there's a call from Florida, but nobody we know. In addition to that, they say, anyone who knows about gear shift debounce. Somebody please be my thesaurus here. What is gear shift debounce? For controllers, please try the T7 test patch, as I've just changed the way debounce code works. We need to make sure no shifting problems have been caused. So 2 more updates in the last 24 hours out of Live for Speed. Dan DiMaggio Isn't it amazing? I have a note to download. I'm just really busy and I haven't gotten around to it. But I honestly was thinking about it in great detail, and I thought, man, I think Live for Speed holds up. I don't think it's just like a memory of how good it was, as much as I think it holds up in time, and I still think it plays very well. Oh, yes. I always get accused of the light thing in karting. I'm not as light as you'd think, though. Shaun's got a belly. Thrustmaster, you know, they did some polls, I believe it was, to find out. And apparently, 62% of the audience liked the TM competition wheel add-on Sparko mod. That is a great one. That's the one that's on the TSXW. It's sitting right there on my Thrustmaster. And then a different percentage somewhere liked the other one. Anyway, they're adding both of these wheels. That's the TS PC Racer, the Formula, upside down looking Formula wheel, and the TSXW wheel, also known as the Sparko 310 mod. Both of those wheels are becoming available a la carte. So if you have just like any of the wheels that take the Thrustmaster family of wheels, it's going to be compatible. So if you have like a T500, you'd be able to put any of the new wheels onto your T500. They've held out on those two wheel rims, and they've been exclusive to the bases they were sold with. So apparently they are now going to be expanding that outward. My chat is not one-to-one. I have two different chats coming up, and I'm not sure. It's like one is way ahead of the other one. Shift to bouncing is to prevent accidental double shifts on dodgy equipment. Ah, very cool. So if you have a button that like kind of flickers a little bit, it's good. I gotcha. Thank you, Theodore. So there you go. Thrustmaster has that going on. In addition to that, here's a cool shot. Here's two guys you probably should know in the world of sim racing. But that right there is Camille Franchak, and that is John Allen. Wait, John. Oh, come on, Shaun. They had his name there before. Where'd it go? Now I'm saying two guys you should know the name of, and I can't remember one of them. I know Camille for sure. And what's his name? I have on the tip of my thumb. He's like one of the main head guys in terms of Thrustmaster. But they have a cool event going on at Thrustmaster right now. And here at PAX East, they have what they put codes? What are codes? I think that's a misspelling. Want to guess what we're keeping under these codes? Is that another word? Someone thesaurus me again. Codes. Answer coming up soon. So what is under these things? And this is at that same event here that this is Josh Martin. That's his name. There it says it. So this is at Circuit Paul Ricard with Josh Martin and Camille Franchak flying on the ground, because Camille's a pilot in the Polish Air Force, believe it or not. It's always a great moment to have Thrustmaster sponsored drivers to share their e-racing knowledge and tips. This is going on at the PAX West at Circuit Paul Ricard. And they're doing some sort of an unveiling. Thank you, Thunder Motorsports. I just can't read. My eyes are getting old. What can I say? So, what else? What else? So, Alonzo, you know, it was Alonzo, FA, Racing, Logitech, and then there was some sort of a falling out, and then it wasn't going to be Alonzo anymore, FA being Fernando Alonso. But now Alonzo's launched a new eSport team with Logitech. I can't keep track of what's even going on with Fernando Alonso. There was an announcement that he was going to have a long-term thing to do with McLaren. There's an announcement of his new Formula One team, eSport team. There's possible talks of him running in whatchamacallit, in IndyCar. So anyway, lots going on with that. This is one, now they are kind of working with the known Veloce eSport team. So this is sort of like a combination of things bringing it together. But again, this is the official Alonso, and probably long-term Alonso eSport team. And we're going to come back to that. Remember that name, Veloce eSport, for a moment. You remember that. Hold on to that for a moment. We talked about PAX West. Our seat are the ones supplying. I call these the Assetto Corsa model because they are just totally black and red like Assetto's Corsa coloring. But anyway, this is at the lineup there with Thrustmaster and our seat and Assetto Corsa, funny enough. So what do you know? It's the Assetto Corsa sim being showed with the Assetto Corsa rigs and all that. Randy Welch, how did I almost miss that? Randy Welch getting in on the donation train. Thank you very much, Randy. Very, very appreciated. Goes a long way. Always doing upgrades here on so many different things. And all that helps a ton in just keeping the sim pit going. I appreciate it a ton. So, what else? Lauderer. I don't know who this guy is, but Andre Lauderer explains his absence from this weekend's 1,000 miles of Sebring. Couldn't miss an important Formula E sim test. So the story goes, and I haven't read the whole thing. This was sent in. And I want to thank all the pit crew guys who send in stories. I get them sent via email, Shaun@thesimpit.com, S-H-A-U-N, Shaun@thesimpit.com. I get them sent in. We have a special channel on our Discord for the patron guys where it's news for the show. And guys like Vawman and all the crew are always pitching in. I want to thank you guys for always making the show better with kicking in more and more news. But Andre Lauderer says there was no alternative date to accommodate his important Formula E simulator test that has prevented him from competing in the 1,000 miles of Sebring. So I just want you to try that on for size. Just think about that statement in its own. A real-life driver passed on a real-life race to do a sim test for a potential ride in a different series. A sim test, nonetheless. That might be the first I've ever heard of that happening like that. I think this isn't really new news, but it was covered at Haggerty of all places. If you're into fine cars, you know Haggerty quite well. But SCCA goes virtual with a new iRacing series. So the Spec Racer Ford Challenge is going to be an officially SCCA sanctioned event with their partnership with them and Skip Barber. And I think they have a Skip Barber event going on as well. You can win like a 3-day Skip Barber racing school. So prizes to be had and good training cars. Good. I drove the Skippy with the new tire model and really, really enjoyed it. Lauderer was a monster driving for the Audi LMP program. Thank you. Thank you. I don't get to follow that all that much. And that's why they invented earbuds. Did I blow out your guys' ears? I'm sorry. FA Logitech sounds better than FAG to Logitech for some reason. I'm going to stick with the acronym on that one, Alex. Oh, gosh. You guys cracked me up. All right. Yeah, SCCA or SCCA. I'm so screwed on that one for life. MX versus ATV All Out Anniversary Edition is out now. So if you care about that, you'll find it. That's from THQ Nordic. So just keep in mind, you know, the companies that we know and cherish in the world of sim racing, or at least motorsport, automotive motorsport gaming. I'm not going to go as far as call it sim racing when talking to MX versus ATV, but I guess the All Out Anniversary Edition is out. Announcement of MotoGP 19 releases on June 6th. It's going to have some new features, screenshots, announcements, trailer. I heard they're going to have historic content in MotoGP 19, so that could be cool. I just talked about it. What about Moto? I know a lot of you guys watch motorcycle racing, but we don't talk about motorcycle sims, and I don't know if you can use the word sim to describe most of the motorcycle content out there. But despite that, does the big race happening on Sunday make you want to drive MotoGP or one of the other motorcycle titles out there to get your taste of the action as well? That's how I always feel. Yeah, that's what I thought, Edgar. I didn't think that was new news. I thought that was kind of old news, but I think it is expanding on it. You know what it does show? It shows that iRacing is getting a good job of getting some money and sponsorship into the lower tiered series. iRacing has always had prize payouts for the top 2 series, one road, one oval. And with the expansion into dirt oval, with the expansion into rallycross, And with them taking on things like a lower tiered, you know, you had the Mazda, Global Mazda Championship. So they've done a good job of getting some money down lower. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine about iRacing and some of the things they could do better, and it ended up being a couple hour long. And even though iRacing is one of my favorite sims, I have a couple hours of what I could do different to iRacing, and I think expand their success, to be honest with you, to put it bluntly. And some of what they're doing there is in the right direction. I think it would be easy for them to give away even smaller prizes and smaller amounts to virtually every series, and probably increase participation across the board. 704 Games has announced new hirings, so they have a new head. So Colin Smith, Motorsport Network veteran, named president. Ed Martin, who was the former president, I do believe, moved to new roles as managing director of eSports. So some big changes. I mean, you got to consider Motorsport Network acquired 704 Games in August 2018. So as a publisher, they're still going by the name 704 Games, but you know, you look at this whole Heat 3 eSport, you know, $100,000 direct affiliation with NASCAR. Things are on the move. Things are happening. And, you know, just as Austin Ogonoski pointed out in his article, what we will have to see is the real return on investment that these companies get. If they get enough attention, we'll see a season 2. If they don't, we will see the end of it, and then we'll be hoping or crossing our fingers that somebody else takes up the reins and finds a different way, and maybe with a more successful outreach, perhaps. Who knows? We're going to have to follow it. Let's talk about jobs. You want to work in sim racing? You sick of that job? You sick of being at the factory? You sick of being in a cubicle that with people who don't care about things you care about? Want to talk sim racing all day? Well, get a job in motorsports. Veloce eSport is looking for a social media director. Veloce eSport. Didn't we just mention Veloce eSport in conjunction with the FA Racing? Yes, we did. Anyway, they're looking for an eSport specific. It's so the Veloce eSport division social media director. If you guys sit at home and do your Facebook and Twitter and all these things all day long, you might already have the skills. It is in the UK, intermediate job level, full-time paid. There you go. Other sim jobs. McLaren is looking for a simulator development project leader. I don't know what kind of resume you need. You need a Rudy Van Buren type resume. That's what you need, Mitchie Hoyer. Simulator development project leader. In addition to that, they're also looking for a vehicle dynamics engineer for their simulator program. So you can see McLaren continues to expand and expand and expand. Not just their eSport effort, but their simulator effort for the real motorsport team as well. And they are absolutely, more than anybody, I applaud McLaren. If I had the money, I'd go buy one just to reward them. But they are seeing the parallel. They're seeing the connection between sim racing and real life, and they're seeing how to use it to their advantage for the future. So that's very, very cool. eSport editor for Autosport. Ah, very cool. Is that also motorsport? Are they one and the same? But yeah, there you go. The Fnatic job was legit steep credentials. All right. Did anybody apply? And did you give me the name? I didn't get word of a free DD1, so I'm assuming no one got the job on my recommendation or my referral. Raceroom eSport event at the Tuning World Bodensee 2019. This is kind of like a Sim Expo type thing where you have a real-life event going on with some of the big events like the ADAC GT Masters. So this is a big thing going on that you can go spectate if you'd like. May 3rd through 5th, I believe. There's going to be 1,000 cars on display. Dynamic high-performance sports cars to most extremely modified tuned vehicles. In addition, there will be several shows, for example, drift shows. From what I've heard, there will also be quite some beautiful girls. There you go. Gotta love the ladies. Either way, over 100,000 visitors each year. Can't be wrong. So, and again, when we're looking for sim racing exposure, one thing I will say, you can say what you want about the Visa Vegas event and the $1 million and the success or failure of that event. One thing I will say is it drew a giant crowd. When that event was going on, John Hill was there with me. It was standing room only. Every seat was occupied, and it was rows and rows of people surrounding the entire like giant booth that they had built at CES. So it pulled in a good crowd. It'll be interesting to see if the 100,000 visitors each year that are going to attend this big event, the Tuning World Bodensee. It's in Germany, by the way, so Mitchie just said he'll be there. Mitchie, you're going to have to make arrangements to meet some people. Amir, are you going to still be in town, or are you going to be gone by then? Or have you already left? I've lost track of all time. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how many people show up to watch the sim racing event. Will it be standing room only? Will it put on a good show? And will it be one of those things that this is what they're talking about with what will they get return on investment? If they see smiling faces, if they hear cheering fans, if they get a good crowd from a general audience, it's definitely going to help into the future for eSport in general across the board. So 20,000 on the line, including a 3-motion simulator and 7,500 euro prizes. American Gamer Muscle. eSport is doing a little of this. You know, eSport, sim racing eSport, it's learning its way. That's what it's doing. There's going to be some stepping over the lines and failures. There's going to be some under-attended successes. And it's going to take time. This is all very new to us. And motorsport eSport is different than shooter eSport. We're not as exciting, but maybe we're more legit. The competition is maybe more sincere. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be something to watch, and that's what I've been talking about on the show for quite some time. It's going to take some time to really see how it plays out, but I think it's safe to say it's going to be here for a long time. Lionheart Racing Series, everything is kicking off this week. So tonight, I have my first race in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, and this is going to be 133 laps at 9:35 CT. My stream is going to start at about 7:30 my time, I think. It might be 7:45, right before qualifying. Tonight, I will be streaming it. It'll also be on the GSRC, so if you want to see the real broadcast, you want to see the real guys doing it, you can watch that race on GSRC tonight. I believe the green flag drops at 7:55, if I'm not mistaken, Pacific time. But Lionheart is kicking off, and then tomorrow night is the Retro Series, which I'm not running in. But first medical equipment. This is going to be at Homestead. I did okay last night. I kept the car clean. Maybe I can step it up just a little bit more tonight, hopefully. I gotta get some aggression. Right now, I'm having a hard time being aggressive. I'm a little timid. I'm a little afraid, to be honest with you. I've got great car control. I love the car, having fun with it, just having a hard time putting that nose where I'm a little afraid to put it. So, what else to talk about? What else today? Just Race Spot. Someone sent this in. I thought it's worthy of mentioning just what's going on in their upcoming broadcast. So, they're doing the 60-plus racing adventures. That's tonight. V8 Super Truck Series, round 2 at Phillip Island on the 16th. Neo Endurance Series on the 17th. And Logical Classic Indy Cars on the 17th. There you go. And I just like showing rigs. They get sent in to me, and I like to put them because, again, they're motivation in so many different ways. Oh, that's a show-related message right there. Oh, hey, Izzy. Sorry about that. I was just being notified the Gamer Muscle chatter going on. Good things coming there. All right, I'm not sure if we're making an announcement. I think we'll make that announcement on Friday. Anyway, not the prettiest rig, but it's my little slice of paradise after working all day. Anyway, I like the way he has sleep on it. I thought you would be blocking sensors if you put a sticker in that zone. Is that not where it is? Hey, George! I got my stickers yesterday. I should have showed them. They're not here. Anyway, look at this. Here's another rig. And he says he can finally play Assetto Corsa the way it's supposed to be played. So does that mean he was playing on a controller? Or does that mean he was just playing on a desktop or some kind of lap wheel or something? But anyway, look at that. 2 play seat challenges. You know, I'm not going to recommend a play seat challenge for anybody other than somebody trying to put a rig in the closet. And if you have to put a rig in the closet because your wife doesn't allow such a thing or you don't have the space, it's hard to beat the play seat challenge. That's its only purpose in the world. It is a very mediocre at best rig, but it is an outstanding portable rig. The best portable rig you can do it. I'm going to get a chance to lose my cool when I drive the Nords Endurance later. But I will be well versed in Nords because we are doing that race. I'm already practicing for it. But more importantly is tonight's race in the Lionheart Racing Series. Looking forward to that one. A little afraid. Here's another cool rig. A couple things. Anyone recognize? That looks like a DIY handbrake. But it's so well done that I'm like, is that a DIY handbrake? Anybody have the eyes? Can anybody tell what handbrake that is? But it looks like a Logitech G wheel and a Deathmobile rig. Look at that 2x4 action. Some of it painted, some of it not. What I see here is a rig that has been through many adaptions, and that's one of the favorite things. One of my favorite things about a Deathmobile is a Deathmobile is never done, because whether it be changing your equipment, adding equipment, changing your seat, wanting to do something different, you are never done. You can always change the angle, you can always change the shape, you can always change the color. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, great job with that DIY Deathmobile there. And then here, people always ask, you know, what would my rig be if I wasn't doing a show? And I think back in time, and I don't know if any of you guys remember, you'd have to go back about 10, 12 years in time, but way back when, my dream rig I actually had, and this goes back to the TSW days of non-force feedback, but I had a Star Mazda chassis in my house, including bodywork. That Star Mazda chassis, this goes back in the days of a CRT screen, so I cut out a piece in the chassis, and I had the monitor sitting right there. I had the wheel exactly where it was in the real Star Mazda car. I had put a shifter in place exactly where the shifter in that car went, along with the pedals, and it was very authentic, it was very real, it was very proper formula driving position, and it was one of my all-time favorites. But anyway, here's somebody else's approach to something, and I can't imagine, I don't see, yeah, I do see a steering rack on that. I hope that, I don't know how he just put a potentiometer on some old school. That looks like a go-kart. I have to confess, that doesn't even look like a race car. That is some flimsy A-arm action. I don't know if I would want to go in that thing much over 35 miles an hour, but that could be a cool setup, cool sim rig for sure. So that is going to do it for today's show. That's all I've got. I have nothing more to say. I want to thank you all for being here. Be sure to subscribe to the show. Be sure to thumbs up the show. Be sure to tell a friend so that we can continue to grow and keep on getting better. But that's going to do it for this one tonight. Like I said, tonight I've got that Lionheart IndyCar. It is going to be the debut of a new season in the IndyCar IR18 at Homestead. 133 laps kicking off late tonight. Hopefully you'll be able to tune in and watch it live. And if you can watch my angle right here at the Simpit, or you can watch the live broadcast on GSRC. Should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm still a little bit nervous. That's going to do it. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.